In this lesson, let's go back into Pages and let's open up Contact. I want to show you how to, for example, add maybe additional columns and rows. We're going to add some graphics into 3 of the cells to kind of liven up our table. And then I'm going to show you something called a behavior. Now, a behavior, I would say, is a little bit beyond a basic course, but that's not the point. The point is there are things that you need to know about Dreamweaver. Behaviors create a dynamic aspect to a web page. But I want you to be cautioned on one thing. When you're working with dynamic aspects, you can go overboard to the point that people lose the message of your site and they just see the effects. So if you want to go dynamic, that's cool, but do it because it supports your message. I guess that's what I'm saying. Now we need to be in design view, which we are. I want you to click anywhere you want to in this column right here. Doesn't matter. Just click in that first column. Go up to the word modify in the pull down menu and go down to table and select insert rows or columns right there. Now we want one column, not a row. We want it before the current column, not after. Click OK. Now we've got that 4th column, but we're beginning to be pushed left to right. I think we need this a little bit wider. We can override what we did when we made this. So we're going to go into CSS Designer. We're going to go into our main table format and go into main formatting. All I want to do is increase the width. Now, if I come down here, I'm going percentage, and I'm going to go 95% of the width of that box that it's in. That makes it a little bit better. Now, let's go to Files. Let's collapse Pages for now. Go into Images and open up Contact Images right here. You have Book Tour 2, Info 2, Weather 2. I'm going to pick up Book Tour, the first one. And all I'm going to do is drag it over here into this area. Now, we've worked with graphics before. We have a page that has lighthouses on it. This up here is a graphic. We know how to work with graphics. So this part isn't really new. Let's go ahead and get into more info. That's actually the first one up here. It doesn't really matter the order. And then we need our weather, and that would go here. Now, you'll notice the boxes are expanding more than what they need to. You're also going to notice something else. This particular class that we defined for this area right here tells it to push this off right here. When we created this one, it's using the same class, and I don't want that. So I need to create a class for these 3 right here. That's very easy. We're going to come back over to CSS Designer. We're going to go into main table format right here. We're going to go and click the plus sign for selectors. Period. Full stop. Give it a name. Main table image format. That's nice and big. Now, the cool thing about this is I don't really have to change anything. I don't want any options. I want it to be just a default area. So I'm going to select this one here, Shift key, select all 3, change the class to main table image format, and you can see it moves over exactly the way I want it to. Now, we still have more space over here, don't we? I don't want that either. I could get here and drag it over if I wanted to, but we could also do this. If we click on one of these, you'll notice we get this area up here. 200 pixels wide, 42%. If you click that button, you can do things like, for example, insert column left, insert column right, or clear column width, just like that. So we have the width taken care of. Now, if we go into live view, you can see that does look pretty nice. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I want to do one more thing, a behavior, but we have to be in design view to do that. So go ahead and select this one right here. Go up to the word window on the pull-down menu and go down to behaviors. If you click the plus sign, you've got a lot of stuff you can do here. You might want to explore and play around. You can create pop-up messages. You can preload images. You can set text to show or hide. What we want to do is something actually very simple, swap an image. So we're going to click right here and say swap image. Now you'll notice it says unnamed. Now I'll explain that in a second, but that actually is the idea over here. It is selecting the one I want, so I don't have to worry about that. But since I haven't named anything on this page, they all look the same. The good news is it does have the one selected that I want. Now we need to set the source. So I'm going to come over here and say browse. I'm going to get into my images. I'm going to go into contact images, and that would be info 2, this one right here. Go ahead and select open. Now notice what we have after we say OK. We have on mouse out and on mouse over. So when the mouse hovers over that graphic, it will switch to the other graphic. When the mouse comes out, it will go back to the original image. Now, if you select one of these, you can change what that is that triggers the response. That's why behaviors are really cool to work with, and you want to play around with these. But that's what I want. I don't have to change anything. So if I come over here and click this one, same procedure. Let's go into the plus sign right here and say swap, browse, and that would be our weather image right here. Click open, click OK, and that one's ready. Now let me show you this. Let's go to this one and let's give it an ID. Let's call it tour. Now that ID is only necessary if you're calling it using JavaScript, other things, or if you just want to identify it here. So we now have a name for this one, and it's called tour. If we click on that one and come back up here and swap an image, there's the name. That's what ID is. Now if we click browse, and that would be Book Tour 2, Rita Hayworth. Click open. We do have a preload images, which we leave on, and restore image on mouse out, which we leave on too. Click OK, and that one's done too. Let's go ahead and click out here. Let's go into live, and as you can see, they do work. Call me, and I'll book a tour for you, or I'll give you the weather, or I'll give you additional information. Working with behaviors is not just about tables and cells. It can be any object on the screen. You might want to explore those and give your site a little bit of life. Let's go ahead and save what we have. Notice also it's saying save changes to the main table format, which is important. You want to do that.